Alright, it's been a while, and with what's going on right now with Genshin Impact, I think it's a decent time for me to make a video, since I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of an easy content, just me talking. I do want to talk about this because it's very interesting, not only just for the game, but for gamers in general, people that play games. So it's a really interesting situation for those that you don't even need to play Genshin to understand what's going on with this situation. I'm gonna explain a bit what happened. Basically, it's their 3-year anniversary. They decided that for their anniversary they will give players free intertwined fates, free wishes. For those that don't know, it's basically nothing. It's maybe pocket change, even less than that. I don't even know what to say. Just so you know, it takes 10 wishes to guarantee a 4-star character or item, which it's okay, and it takes 90 to guarantee a 5-star. So 3 wishes is like nothing basically. And the thing is that with what's going on, a lot of Genshin Impact players are hard coping. All they're doing is, I feel like, is push other players that play games from MiHoYo, which are the ones that make Genshin, and they're pushing them down and insulting everyone else just so they can basically cope. First thing, I want to talk about why this is bad. A lot of Genshin players are saying, why are you complaining about getting something free in a free-to-play game, or at least it's better than nothing. But here comes the problem. The first thing is, the game is 3 years old, and the reason they're here, the game is so popular and it's making them so much money, is simply because people have been investing time, effort, and money. They are spending money on the game. So for the devs to be like, take 3 wishes, which again, it's basically nothing, it's a spit in the face, for them to see you as not even a customer, for them to see you as like an annoying kid, like, oh, here's your chocolate, go away, here's our iPad games, go away. It really says how much greed and how little they care about the actual player base. And the problem is that Genshin players are eating it up. They say, which is a huge cope in my opinion, at least it's better than nothing. But here's the problem: if you keep saying, well, it's better than nothing, they will keep giving you little, because that's what you've been used to. You've always been used to little to no rewards, so when you get something, you think it's what you actually deserve or what's really good. Here is something I want to mention. I've actually met in real life people that play Genshin, and when I talk with them, it feels that most of the time they either only play Genshin, or they mainly play Genshin and maybe something else on the side, like, I don't know, maybe Minecraft or Sims. Basically these games that are single player and they don't have this live service type of thing and this gacha thing. And the problem is, if you're only like 90% of your time is spent on this game, you don't know what it is to actually have a dev team that cares about and invests in their player base. Does that make sense? Because they've been treating you this way, this is what you're used to. It's basically like a toxic relationship. Now I want to talk about the way Genshin Impact players cope. That was one thing. The first thing, I found an interesting comment under Gacha Smack, which is a really good YouTuber. I really suggest to look at his videos. But there's this comment and I want to read it. I always associate it with parents, HoYoverse, the company, having a son, Genshin Impact, which is 3 years older than the youngest daughter, Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail is their newest game from the company, from HoYoverse. Imagine giving the youngest daughter all the presents she wants for Christmas plus $20, and giving the son, which is probably the honor student or athlete or something, the one that gives honor or fame to their parents, only a measly $3. The funny thing is, the son would just mumble, "It's better than nothing, I guess," and be content. Genshin Impact players have never been treated well, or have never played a game that treats them well. When they get nothing or barely anything, they say is better than nothing, because that's everything for them. It's either nothing or just a bit. That's the thing with Honkai, the Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail, which are two games from the same company, they're doing amazing. They know how to reward the players, they know how to not be greedy, how to listen to the community, and so on. And the thing is that, while indeed Honkai Impact definitely is what, started the company, I won't deny that their biggest game has to be Genshin Impact, in my opinion, because I feel like everybody plays it. Like recently I found out like that some people, they play it like once in a while, and it's like I did not expect them to play game or these kind of games. So it really shows that the game is that huge. The things Genshin Impact players say, they're just trying to push everything down. It's basically another cope, but by insulting other games. Honkai Star Rail is the newest game from the company. They usually just insult those players because those are actually trying to talk to those Genshin Impact players. One thing I've seen is that there's no exploration, and Honkai Star Rail doesn't have exploration just like in Genshin. But what does that mean? It's like, okay, if you really like open world games, I can understand that being a minus for you, but in no way that makes the game bad. I believe the fact that there isn't much exploration, they can invest more time in the characters, the combat, other game mechanics, and in the story. Another thing I've heard is the auto battle. You're just lazy, use the auto battle, which is like, the only times I use the auto battle is when I'm farming small enemies that I can just one shot anyways. So it's really not a big thing, but I actually want to say that the combat in Genshin is a bit more boring. I feel like it generally takes less strategy. Oh, they also complain about being a turn-based. Don't get me wrong, I can understand not liking turn-based games, but at the same time, if you're not fully disgusted or repulsed by it, I genuinely think you should give it a try. It might be a bit difficult at the beginning, but the thing with Honkai Star Rail, it's actually a really rewarding game. Because the main thing is the turn-based combat, a lot of focus is on that in a way, so you'll have to work on the characters and strat. Exploration in a way kinda carries the game, I'm not gonna lie, simply because there's always something you can do. Oh, I did all the main missions, now I can go explore. Oh, I explored the entire map, I got all the main locations. Okay, now I can go search for chests or do some puzzles. Oh, I did that too, now I can do some side mission, or something. There's always something you can do. And another thing is the multiplayer. You can easily, join in and play with someone else. And unlike Honkai Star Rail, they have control over their character. Honkai Star Rail, you don't play with them, you just use their character. Another thing, the game is very casual. I won't deny. Like, you can be, like, that's the thing. That's why I was surprised other people around me knew about the game and even played it, is because the game is so accessible and easy for a lot of new players. It's very casual, like anybody can play it easily and understand it. That's kind of about it. The thing with Honkai Star Rail, it's okay for casual players, but once you reach the end game, you'll realize that most of it is just a very difficult fight. So you'll have to invest a lot in strategy, in your character's build, and so on, in your teams. Genshin Impact players were saying that they don't want the game to be harder. In Honkai Star Rail, they realized, hey, we need to add more endgame content, we need to make it a bit difficult, so they added more and you can get more reward. I don't know why, but Genshin players, it feels like they don't want more options, more possibilities, and I found that extremely weird to just be repulsed by the idea, because you're a casual player, you don't want that because you don't care about it. But I think other players care. Other players would like to have harder content. I don't know why you're pushing away the idea of adding more. Personally, for me, Genshin has been it's weird, because I started playing it in like the first month it came out, and I've been playing it ever since, but with breaks. Sometimes I'd stop playing for a few weeks, sometimes for a few months. I only came back recently, but I'm promising you, I'm gonna stop playing in a few days. A lot of Genshin Impact players are saying the story is so good and there's so much to do and stuff like that, but I'm gonna say it. Personally, it's a whole yapping session. I'm sorry, but when I go in a mission, 99% of the times I'm finding myself spamming the space button just so I can skip through the dialogue, because I don't care. It's usually the story just gets boring really quick, And no, it's not TikTok, I don't use TikTok, I have a decent attention span, but it gets boring really quick, where it's an NPC I don't care about and I'll never see again. I don't know how they do it, but personally for me, story missions are so repulsive because most of the time it's just the characters yapping, and then you have some very basic combat for 10 seconds. Despite the exploration, the game for me gets really stale and boring. If I remember correctly, recently the only missions I cared about were the Sumeru time loop mission and I think the Ito one. I care about the character, or simply the story was actually interesting. So much yapping, I usually just get bored, don't care about the character, the story is too long, like it just gets very annoying to do things in Genshin for me. People that play the game for hours in a single day and they're saying the story is so good. It's fine if you like the story, I think it can be interesting. Pretty sure there are people that stayed for the entire story and listened to everything, but for me, I don't know, it's just a lot of yapping. I usually just play the game for a few days, maybe a week, maybe two if I'm lucky, and then I take another break for a few weeks or a few months. The moment Wuthering Waves comes out, I'm uninstalling Genshin because there's no reason, and I don't think the game, if right now they're not gonna make the game better, the game will never be better. Like, this is the only time the dev team have the option of improving the game. If they don't make it better, if they don't reward the players, if they don't change, if they don't add things that everybody's been asking for so long, the game is not gonna be better than this. And it sucks because Genshin Impact players will just stick to this. They are too invested into the game, and I feel like they might be. They're probably stuck into the game because they either spent a lot of money or, you know, they played the game for so long, so why should I stop now? But that still doesn't justify it. The thing is that you guys gotta grow up, realize what the problem with the games are, what should be changed, and say it, because if not, the game will remain like this and you'll just find yourself again getting free wishes and saying it's better than nothing. Personally, Honkai Star Rail is so much fun. Even though there's no exploration, I feel like there's always something for me to do. I really want to invest. The next update, the 2.0, is on the way. Amazing stuff, we're getting so many things. And the thing is that I've actually spent money on Honkai Star Rail because I can find myself playing the game for the next 2, 3, I don't fucking know, 4, 5 years. But with Genshin, I can't even promise if I'll play the game next week. So my point is, you gotta realize what the problem with the game is. You gotta stop coping and insulting other players that play different games just so you don't feel like you're being mistreated. Understand that devs have things to change, things to do to improve the game, and if that's not gonna change soon, it's never gonna change, and you're gonna be stuck playing this game thinking that it's really good, forcing yourself to like it and just saying stuff like, at least we have exploration, or the story is good. There are so many things that needs to be changed, and they gotta change. I'm telling you, a lot of people either just completely stop playing the game, or they're gonna switch to Wuthering Waves. If I remember, they literally stated that the beta testers, because of the feedback they gave, they changed 90% of the story. So if they can do that, you know, like, Genshin has to step it up. Even not having competition doesn't justify the game being mistreated and the player base being mistreated. Pretty boring, not much, but you know, it's pretty difficult with I'm pretty busy with life, so that's about it. Yeah.